Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having an incredible day. To start things off, Hester Peirce, who is a member of the Securities and Exchange Commission, is worried that the regulator, that is to say the SEC, is moving too slowly for the crypto ecosystem. Addressing fellow regulators at the Securities Enforcement Forum in Palo Alto, California, the heart of the Silicon Valley, Peirce said that 1 year ago she was concerned that the SEC, as one of the token market's potential regulators, would stifle its growth. She wryly added, "I will admit today that I was very wrong, not about whether the SEC would stifle the industry's growth, it has, but in how it would do it. Rather than being heavy-handed in enforcing the rules as she feared, the agency has instead been too sluggish to clarify or update them," she said. "I worried that hasty regulation would smother the industry in its infancy. My concerns did not become reality. The enforcement actions we have taken to date in the crypto space have, for the most part, exhibited appropriate resistance. On the regulatory side, hasty is not the word I would use to describe the SEC's pace. It is not the SEC's overzealous action that have stifled the crypto industry, but its unwillingness to make meaningful action at all." Without reading any further, because it kind of just not repeats itself, but it goes a bit further into exactly what she's saying. I have thought for a very long time that many government agencies or money agencies, regulators, whatever you want to call them, whatever name you decide to give them, I said in 2017, I had a very strange feeling that they wouldn't be giving us any proper information. A lot of the news that they gave was simply to put fear into the markets, and that's exactly what they did. They caused a lot of people in 2018 to believe that either cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin in particular were going to be banned within the United States, or that something detrimental would happen because regulators would come down hard on them. They didn't come down hard at all. We know that they're not going to come down hard because there's too much money behind the scenes. Whatever, that's my own personal opinion on how I kind of view the space right now. But I also did mention, I said, one of the main things that I was most worried about is that the regulators within the United States would take their time. I thought it was going to be a flip. I assumed that sometime during 2018, because we heard from it was April 2018, that in June 2018, that regulators across the US, I believe it was just the SEC at this point, who were going to give proper cryptocurrency regulations, and they didn't. What I believed was going to happen was that eventually the US would give regulations and the rest of the world would follow. However, it's been the exact opposite. The same exact thing that happened to her, the same opposite thing happened to me. What ended up happening was that other countries around the world got tired of waiting for the United States and have made their own cryptocurrency regulations, laws, whatever the case might be, and they've all been relatively friendly, save the 1, 2, or 3 countries who have banned it, but they're under restricted rule in the first place, so I wasn't expecting them to be very friendly to the cryptocurrency industry. Another one of my fears that is slowly becoming a rapid reality, and we're seeing this on many different fronts, is that the longer that it takes for the United States regulators to actually get it together and kind of release some type of proper information, the more stifled the industry will actually become within the United States. And this is not as I feared that it would stifle the rest of the world. It's not. The rest of the world is quickly moving on from the entire thing. And I think it's very interesting when you see someone like the commissioner of the SEC coming forward to tell everyone else, you're going too slow, move a bit faster. You don't have to completely drown it in regulation, but do something so that the rest of the industry can kind of move on. And I assume that she means the rest of the industry within the United States, because the rest of the world has moved on. I'm very glad for that. I'm very glad that not that we have regulations in Europe, but that at least regulators have come to the conclusion that they're just going to be regulating ICOs and cryptocurrency exchanges and anti-money laundering, so and so and so. There's no real stifling of growth, if you will. And what we're seeing as well is something that Coinbase used to be the largest crypto exchange in the world, and a large reason why I think they're losing a lot of footing, especially when it comes to like Binance, is because of the lack of regulations, or the lack of any type of actual clarity within their space. And this is why you see Coinbase launching certain things, but it's not available in New York, or it's not available in Alaska, or we're only launching in 13 states. It's very weird that a country is, I don't want to say as divided when it comes like to monetary policies as that, but it's very interesting. Anyway, I don't think anytime soon that the SEC is going to get it together. I have a very strange inkling that when I thought in 2018 that they were going to get it together in 2019, I'm assuming we won't hear any actual constructive, concrete information or regulation or what is a security, what's not a security until sometime around maybe 2020. And that's like giving them like, yeah, maybe they'll definitely do it. I don't think so. I think it's going to take them a very long time. Who knows what the reason is, but thank goodness that the rest of the world is or has already created their own laws, rulings, regulations, and this is why we see the crypto market moving forward as it is, because the US is no longer the center of attention. Kind of insane. Next up, popular crypto exchange ZebPay has announced that it is going down under. That's a terrible joke. The exchange announced in country AUD support on Twitter the other day. It joins exchanges like Coinbase and Coin Corner in supporting the continent. ZebPay added euro to their offerings in December 2018 and has quickly added markets in 2019. The company was left in a lurch during September 2018, the Indian crypto ban, but has now expanded into over 100 markets. Yeah, I believe ZebPay was the largest one within India. It's not like we hear about ZebPay that often in the news at all, but I think they were the largest one that was within India, and then the Indian government, the same exact thing that happened with the American government, said that they were going to give regulations, and I think India's is probably a lot worse because it didn't come down to, oh, we won't give regulation. It was more like, no, this is banned. You can't do that. We're shutting down cryptocurrency exchanges. If you have a crypto exchange, you can't partner with the bank. You can't get a bank account. So I think theirs was a lot worse. So I guess it's nice to hear that ZebPay is continuing. We also don't hear a lot about AUD. I think that's the Australian dollar support. Nice to hear that that's also getting a little bit of a leg up, because normally we typically hear whenever there are any pairings, 99% of the time it's usually US dollar or euro. That's usually it, and maybe sometimes Japanese currency, and then that's it. So it's nice to hear that other countries are also getting their own support on these platforms as well. Here's my favorite story of the day, because it only gets better. Following an order by the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida, self-proclaimed creator of Bitcoin, his name is Craig Wright, has submitted a list of Bitcoin addresses associated with a blind trust, and the list is redacted. So what happened, for those who have no idea what's going on, there's a guy a couple years ago who claimed that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, and he's been saying for the past 6 years that he has proof that he is the creator of Bitcoin. He has come forward at least 7 times saying that he was going to show the proof. He has not shown the proof. Apparently someone sued him, as he was suing other people on Twitter for saying that he was not the creator of Bitcoin, because the creator of Bitcoin would be that childish to sue other people. And since he is now in court, the Southern District Court of Florida gave him notice that he has to, or had to, this was about 4 or 5 days ago, he had to produce proof that he was indeed who he said, who was the creator of Bitcoin. Further analysis could prove whether or not Wright really is Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin as he claims to be. Despite Wright's ongoing court battle against the estate of former business partner Dave Kleiman, Tokyo-based Bitcoin researcher and software developer Kim Nilsson of WizSec says the redacted addresses are not hard to guess. So pretty much, I'm going to get to it, and this is where it gets really good. He produced a list of apparently addresses that would prove that he is Satoshi Nakamoto. Instead, he alleges, this guy, Kim Nilsson, that Wright just scraped the blockchain for every early block reward beneficiary and claimed those as his own. According to WizSec, he says, take the list of the first 70 block reward addresses, excluding the Genesis block, and they line up perfectly with Wright's redacted list. That is to say, after the first block was created on the Bitcoin blockchain, the other 70 that came, behind it as things were being mined, these were the 70 that Craig Wright shows that are his. He says we can make even uneducated guesses for the other redacted typing by typing up the candidate text word in a word processor with match formatting and checking whether it lines up with the original document. What Wright does provide appears to be just a lazy copy-paste from the blockchain without any cryptographic signatures to support his claims of ownership. Here's the actual, I believe this is it right here. Yeah, so this guy actually got the actual court document and all the things that are redacted and things that are so and so and so. The actual list that he provided were just the first 70 things that happened on the Bitcoin blockchain, claiming that he did them without any proof. Instead, he just copied and pasted, once again, excluding the first transaction that ever happened, the other 70 things that took place, because this is why blockchain is amazing, because we can check all of this. We can see exactly when this happened. They're all date stamped. The other really interesting thing, I think it says it's somewhere around here. No, where is it? So another part of this entire thing is that apparently Craig Wright has to also prove that he is in possession of the, or rather is the owner, creator, holder, whatever, of the Tulip Trust. It says it right here. A lot of people don't know if the actual Tulip Trust is real. It says the Tulip Trading Trust trustee, appointed by Dave Kleiman as of October 12th, 2012. It has been rumored that Craig Wright will need to access Tulip Trading Trust assets. Trustee acts in the interest of the beneficiaries alone and must defend against undue influences by others. Without reading through the rest of it or whatever, apparently Craig Wright has claimed many times that he is in possession or the owner of, or will regain possession of something called the Tulip Trust sometime in 2020, which he claims has, I think it's anywhere from 700,000, 800,000, or like 1 million Bitcoin. No one knows what he's going to do with this, but the fact is, once again, he has never proven that he has any control over a Tulip Trust, or that there even is a Tulip Trust. This is going to continue on. This is not going to stop anytime soon. I feel like many people who get themselves into the situation where they claim to be someone who they may or may not be, you kind of continue digging a hole. It's not important if we know who Satoshi Nakamoto is or not. Like, it's really not anything that needs to be known. We know how the protocol works. We know that it's not run by governments or controlled by nefarious people, whatever the actual case might be. We know exactly how everything is running. We know that Bitcoin gives a way for people, for 3 billion other people on this planet, to be able to have some type of access to financial services. There's no need to know. I think people who are fascinated with knowing who Satoshi Nakamoto are, or claim to be him, I think they're just bored with life. And I don't mean that to be mean at all. Like, you have to have something deep inside of you. There's been at least 15 people who've come forward over the last 6-7 years who've claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. They're looking for attention. No one really cares who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Like, I did read something, and it was pretty much saying that if you yourself, let's say you created something and you're like, you created something called X, and over the course of a 10-year period, X ends up going up from, 10 cents to $500 per X. And someone finds out that you have 1 million X, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're really rich, you're really cool, you're really so and so and so. This leads to like a gravitational pull towards you, as many people believe that you are then the creator of X, you're then so and so and so. So the idea is that everyone who's claiming to be, or has claimed to be, Satoshi Nakamoto is apparently doing it so not only for attention, but also to kind of gain this type of really weird trust and like fandom with themselves and amongst other people. Because, if you are like, if we find out who Satoshi Nakamoto is, he would probably be one of the most famous people on this planet, without a doubt. He's created a multi-billion-dollar asset while trying to keep his own personal life personal. Well, anyway, kind of is what it is. But as of now, this is the information that we have, and it's still not making sense at all. Next up, Ethereum is in the news. On Thursday, the fintech startup known as Fluidity announced plans for the first Ethereum-powered mortgage in California and New York. Fluidity execs say the offering is slated for this summer. Once all the licensing paperwork is finalized, they said, we'll tokenize the house, which will effectively take the collateral that is the equity of the house. This was said by the chief architect, Todd Lippiatt. You're pledging the house, and you get an advance rate back in terms of dollars. Fluidity formed in early 2019 with the Consensus Decentralized Exchange, merged with the FINRA registered broker-dealer Propeller. Fluidity co-founder Sam Tabor told CoinDesk that although Ethereum mogul and Consensus co-founder Joseph Lubin is still a major shareholder in AirSwap, now a Fluidity subsidiary, the newborn parent company has a distinct set of shareholders, including veteran crypto investors like Brock Pierce, Bill Tai, and Lubin's former college roommate, Mike Novogratz. Oh my gosh. You know that all these guys know each other? Isn't that the weirdest thing in the entire world? Especially for those of you who weren't here in 2018, I made a video about this. It was very, very odd because it clicked in my head very fast. We found out that a lot of the people who worked on Bitcoin actually ended up leaving and working on Litecoin. A lot of them left Litecoin and went to Ethereum. A lot of the people who left Bitcoin also, they went to Ripple. And the people who left Ripple, I think they ended up also making Cardano. Like it's a really weird thing. All these people know each other. It just really even odder, more weird, that they also went to the same schools together. It's a little, this is why I think like whenever you see like any type of like fighting on Twitter between them, I'm like, you guys all know each other. Like stop like acting like you're not that they're related, but that they don't know each other in some sort of way. What's really interesting was happening with Ethereum that I think a lot of people, and I hope a lot of people also will start to pay more attention to, is that a lot of stuff is being built on top of Ethereum. A lot of people are coming to the conclusion themselves that because Ethereum at the moment is only capable of, 15 to 25 transactions maximum per second, that therefore it's never going to scale, it's never going to go any higher, nothing's ever going to happen to it. And I'm like, you have to realize that when all these major big names are kind of getting behind the project where they're trying to put mortgages on top of Ethereum, things should be lining up in your head as to exactly what's going to happen, especially when we, at some point, are going to have an Ethereum that is capable of doing anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million to 100 million, as Vitalik Buterin said on the blockchain. Eventually, it's going to, even if it just ends up doing 50,000 transactions per second, that's totally fine. Just to kind of bring the point home, because I've been mentioning this before, but I think a lot of people didn't really understand exactly what's been going on. There are a number of countries and governments who have announced, even like a year and some change ago, that they were actually going to be using Ethereum. And this is why I think when people turn very bearish on Ethereum, I'm like, you have to kind of just dig a bit deeper. Always dig a bit deeper than you think that you have to, because you end up finding really interesting information as to exactly what's going on. There have been so many things pertaining to Ethereum and Russia, and Putin meeting Vitalik, and Vitalik going to Russia, and this happening, and so. This one even right here, for those who are not looking at the screen, it says the Brazilian government plans to process petitions and write laws on Ethereum. Ethereum's not going anywhere anytime soon. I wish I understood what the fascination was for Ethereum. Like, I understand what the Ethereum space is for. I mean, as far as why so many governments around the world have decided to ban behind one particular project. I think they may all have just kind of done so relatively early when Ethereum first came out, and they are, not that they're stuck, but it's more like let's dedicate all of our energy to doing this actual thing. It's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, especially, I mean, this is when we talk about like a worldwide payment system, and the worldwide, like Ethereum kind of, in essence, wants to be their own internet. I don't really know how to make that any simpler from what it's actually going to be or what they're planning on actually doing. So we're going to have multiple countries, multiple companies, multiple institutions who are going to be writing their laws and other things like that based entirely on Ethereum, which is going to be very cool because it only solidifies the fact that Ethereum is probably not going anywhere anytime soon or ever again, especially as the prices continue to move up. Next up, cryptocurrency exchange known as Binance has revealed that it will be revamping its security network to prevent a recurrence of the 7,000 Bitcoin hack it experienced. For those who are looking at the screen, it says the 78th of May. Incredible. Per a blog post on its official website, the exchange announced that it was implementing significant changes to the fundamental security infrastructure, including its two-factor authentication 2FA process, its application programming interface API, and withdrawal validation processes. It promised to implement some of the new measures within a week. Before deposits and withdrawals service resume on the platform, others will be added afterward. According to a letter concerning the issue, Changpeng Cao, the CEO of Binance, revealed that the hackers were able to employ various theft tactics, including virus deployments and phishing techniques to steal users' confidential information, such as 2FA codes and API keys. Now the exchange is set to learn from any mistakes that could have caused a hack, and announced that it will be revamping its risk management, know your customer procedures, and other security measures in its back-end counter future phishing attempts. I listened to a podcast about a day or two ago. I think it might have been Laura Shin, like one of her more recent ones. I want to say it was on Unchained. She has Unconfirmed and Unchained. It was on one of them. And they were talking about what actually ended up happening with the entire Binance thing. And it's very weird because they think that the people who did hack Binance probably had this planned for months. Like they did a lot of diligent work, because the way that Binance had their system set up, previously, it's not going to be that way before. Like there were a lot of checkpoints that you had to kind of get through, and it looked like these people must have studied for months, day in and day out, to figure out exactly when things would trigger. Like on certain websites, like you have a time period for this, like you have a time period before you get signed out, you have a time period for so and so, like just to for more security measures. And these people knew exactly what they were going to do, when things were going to trigger, how things were going to happen. yeah, so there was also the thing that happened for those. I mean, if you are interested in the news of the Binance hack and the thing that Changpeng Cao said that caused a lot of controversy within the, not really, which a lot of people thought would cause a lot more controversy than it actually did. I think a lot of people were trying to hype it up because of the entire situation that was happening. Changpeng Cao announced, or rather, on Twitter, Changpeng Cao said that he was thinking about a reorg of the Bitcoin blockchain. This actually came from someone else who said that Changpeng Cao should do this. Apparently, it was from a Bitcoin Core member that was saying that if he wanted to, they could reorganize the blockchain to actually get those funds back. According to the people this is why I said you should really listen to it. The people in the podcast, they said what actually ended up happening was that someone said that he should do it, and he thought about it, and he said, no, I'm not going to do it because, whatever the case might be. Apparently, reorgs happen often on many different blockchains. Like, it's not even like a Bitcoin thing. Apparently, what happens is that certain transactions can, I forgot, I can't remember exactly how they phrased it. It's kind of like you re-put a block, like you expose your private key, and then I think you can, it becomes like a free-for-all where people can kind of remine a block that has already been mined, and therefore this is why it's decentralized, because it's not just one person who's actually doing it, and they end up getting the reward from that. It's something I can't explain it. It was my eyes were crossed as I was listening to it, but it all made sense in the moment. If you have a chance to listen to it, a lot of people were trying to talk about that Changpeng Cao is a thief. He did it himself, or he organized it. I don't think he would be stupid enough to steal 7,000 Bitcoin and destroy his multi-billion-dollar company. That doesn't seem like a very smart choice. Like, if you were going to hack yourself, you maybe just take all the Bitcoin that's there as opposed to just 7,000 of them. Apparently, he was fairly distraught because, I don't know if it says it somewhere around here. No, it doesn't say it. Also not here. No, I don't know where the information is, but this is the actual blog post from Binance. I was reading something, and they were talking about the amount of hacks that actually happen to banks and institutions like every single day. Like, most banks have multiple every single day. So the fact that Binance has, I think, gone through 2 of them since its existence is a very good indication that they're at least protecting customer funds. It's when we talk about holding your own coins, or keeping your own private key secure, this is kind of what we talk about. We're further going into a world that is only going to be digital land. Like, it kind of goes into all facets of life. These mega entities, these mega institutions are going to be targeted for hacks. There's kind of no way around it. This kind of just how things work. So I think when people try to cause more drama than there actually is when something does get hacked, like, yes, it's horrible that there were 7,000 Bitcoin hacked, but you have to keep into your perspective that across the wider cryptocurrency space, that there are also tons of hacks on other cryptocurrency exchanges. Like I said, it's everything can be hacked. That's just how things are. This is part of the one of the dangers and risks of moving into a more digital world. I kind of don't really have more to say on the subject, and it's just a matter of if you are afraid of hacks or the threat of a hack, just keep your own cryptocurrencies on your own computer, on your own device, on a Nano. That's kind of the easiest way to really make sure that they're secure, because they're not in the presence or in the way of anyone else who could potentially take them. Anyway, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening. It looks like not that a pullback is happening, but a lot of the altcoins are slowly turning red. It looked, to be fair, over the course of like a 2-hour period, a lot of the, I think Bitcoin fell by this much. A lot of the altcoins kind of shot up in value, as you can kind of see all over here. And I guess maybe in anticipation of trying to get some of Bitcoin's gains. Bitcoin's high in the last 24 hours was $6,862. I assume that we're going to try retesting that very, very soon, especially as more people around the world end up waking up. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. Sorry if I sound a bit, not down. My voice is very, like, scratchy. I'm a glutton for punishment. I keep doing too many things, hanging out too late, going to too many parties and events and stuff like that, and gatherings, and my voice just can't take it anymore. So I think after this video, I'm just gonna not talk for the rest of the day. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. All right, as always, a Special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, SC Versley Fine Art, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Shaolin Fried Rice, Gilboa Snake, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Burchanoff, singer-songwriter, Mike Savitz, Rai, Yasha Hadadi, Amy Starshing, Jeffrey Ramsey, Cryptonatic, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist Coldy 3D, Nicholas One Earth, One Peace, One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanai, Richie Rich III, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Jeremy Fox, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangialavori, and Anthony Charles. Thank you all an incredible amount for your support. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. My voice is like, it hurts. Thank you all once again. Hope you all have an incredible weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.